speaking with member artist Jefferson Santana Jaynes at Bisong Art Gallery, and we'd like to know a little bit more about you and your artistic background.
My mother said I was painting at the age of 2 or 3. I don't really remember. But as long as I can remember, I have always been involved in art, some form or another, whether it's painting, music, photography. But I went through the public school system when we actually had art programs, and I was fortunate enough to have very good teachers who influenced me and sent me through the right paths. And once I finished high school, I went to George Washington University and studied economics and photography. And then I went to University of Houston, where I studied communication, film, television, and radio. And my minor was art history. And at the same time, I was attending Glasgow School of Fine Arts with a painting and photography scholarship. So my training is very classical. That's basically my background in terms of how I learned art and the history behind art and technique, and then of course just actually painting and drawing and sculpture.
Great. So tell us about your creative process.
Basically, when there's interactions in our daily lives, I sometimes see a look that someone gives me, or I see someone looking a certain way, and that look expresses, it's the look that can't be defined with 1,000 words. But that's where the artist comes in, or at least that's what I feel, that as an artist I have to capture those moments that sometimes words can't express. The universal truths that we all hold, that keep, as a society, it's a collective truth, or feeling that we all share. So I see that look, or I can see it in myself, or what have you, and then I start to think about the idea or the feeling, and I create an image in my mind, and until I have that image clearly defined, in my own personal process, I don't start the work. But once I see it, it's just a matter of translating that to the canvas or the drawing or the sculpture. That's basically my process. And then once I see that I have actually laid down what I have in my mind, I stop.
What are you trying to communicate with your art, in particular the piece behind us?
This piece, All Sides of Me, is the title. Basically what I was trying to capture is the idea of what makes up ourselves, meaning there's our logical side, and then there's our spiritual side, and of course there's the side that everybody sees. And of course, your logical side and your spiritual side, you can't have one without the other, because we need our logical side sometimes to understand what our spiritual side is bringing to our life. Of course, one can say that the spiritual side is the side that we feel. Maybe there is no logic to it, no rhyme or reason. But I still think that you have to have that balance. That's what makes us able to communicate and express and love, hate, what have you. If we take a look at this particular side, I didn't intentionally do it, but I've been told that it looks like me. The colors are very bold, almost graphic. They're stark, high contrast colors. And they're very matter of fact. Again, this is the logical side. I have different metallic paints in there because metal we think is a solid thing, but sometimes metal is a liquid, so that ties into the spiritual side a little bit. And on this side, it's not as defined. You can't say your spiritual side is ABC. It's not that easy to express, but it has that ethereal look I was trying to capture. And of course, what we project about ourselves is a mixture of the two, so you can see the combination of colors coming together in this central figure. And of course, there's new colors created because that mixture creates a whole new field in our perception and what we want people to perceive of us, and what they perceive of us, whether we want to show it or not, it comes out.
Have you ever started a painting and then in the process finding out that it's going in a different direction than where you started?
That happens quite a bit. And when that happens, a lot of times I actually stop and set the piece aside. Unless the new direction has a clear end for me, I don't continue it, because I tend to find if I do pursue it, it's kind of murky and it doesn't lead to anything that I find that I want to show the public.
Thank you, Jefferson, for coming by and
Thanks
speaking
for
with us
having me.
about your art. Really appreciate that, and we want to invite you all to come out to Bisong Art Gallery in downtown Houston, Texas, to view more of his pieces. Thank you.
It was a day like no other. Clock said morn. It was said they dropped the bomb.